Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to ask a question. I'm out here going for a walk. I don't know what it is. I haven't been out for a while, and something is just having this burning desire to just get out, get out, get out. Running inside a building is just not the way to do things, I'm realizing. It's about being outside and being in places. It makes me question how everyone's doing that are living in these big cities nowadays. Because it's just, I don't know. When I get out here, it's an absolutely amazing. It calms me. The main word I'm gonna say is I feel like I started getting anxious for I don't even know what reason, but the main reason is just not being outside, not going for a walk. So yesterday I went for a nice 10-mile walk or 9-mile walk. Today we're about to do the same thing. Thankfully it's cooler around where I'm at. It's not 115 degrees out right now, so we all good. But we got just a Dalmatian with us today. Where's she at? She's just gonna be hanging out. And the main question that I want to ask everyone to just really ask your own self is who are you? I want to tell a little story here about something that happened to me in my life that I know if you're anywhere near around my age, you definitely understand exactly what I'm about to say. And that's the concept that you're going to be nobody if you don't go to college. You know, not trade school, not technical school, not none of that, but you have to go get a bachelor's in something and get a master's in something. But you, best case, worst case scenario, you got to get an associate's degree in something, or you're going to be a nobody. And I just want to say, for especially anyone around my age and my age group, I graduated in the 2004, and we were all force-fed this information. And I just, how's everyone doing today? Because when I ask the question of who are you, that's a question that I think that we all slip up on because we're always listening to what everyone else has to tell us to do, as opposed to just doing what it is that we want to do. And we know inside that we need to do. But we don't do it because of what everyone, because of what everyone else around us has to try to tell us who we are and how we need to be. Because there's something very interesting that went on in my life when I was a young teenage boy. I was always on the computers. And this is probably a story that pretty much everybody can relate to. Don't worry about the actual things that I was doing, but just understand the concepts of the theme of what's going on here. But I was a teenage boy living in this world. I spent a lot of time on a computer. I don't know why, but my life was on a computer. Not even so much as playing games, but just like literally just pushing buttons to figure out what this thing is all about. And luckily, my dad was one that had computers, and we had a desktop, like the first ones that came out in our house. And having to use that command dot prompts and figure it all out. And it was a fascinating little thing to me that I was just on it like all day. Summertime out of school, me and my brother, we didn't sleep. We were just on the computers. We'd pass out on the keyboard, wake up and be right back at it again. And being on that computer really led me to see some interesting things that just kept evolving. And the one thing that evolved that I was just like, this is really cool. Me just going with my intuition, my gut instinct of just saying, I want to try this. And I just started to try it. And that was when eBay got introduced in my life. It got introduced in my life that I was like, this is a really cool system here. People are like selling stuff. And then I started digging deep, just spending so much time and just invested on staring at this website. I was just stuck in the website. I was like, what's going on here? And then I started realizing that not everyone is selling stuff that they have. Some people are selling stuff that other people have. And that got me super fascinated. Then I started to question and wonder, how, again, this is all before we got what we got today. Our Google searches were very, very minimal information. Everything was just very minimal at that time. Today, you will get flooded with know-hows and how-tos, and people got videos and courses and all that. This is before all of this. This is just, we're figuring it all out for the first go. But something in my gut said, let's keep investigating what's going on here in this. And I just kept studying. And then I started sending emails. That's when the opening of communication really started to get good. I started sending emails to everyone. What are you selling? How are you selling it? Where are you getting it from? And you know, again, nowadays we can all these courses to do that. But then it was just me sending emails to the guys that had because at that time it was about the rating. Who had the most sold items? You had you get your little stars, little blue stars, your gold stars, and all that's depending on how much you sell. So if you sold 50 items, you got a certain star. If you had 10,000 items, you had like a whole different level of what I want to say is a credibility, because you've sold that many items and you've gotten like 4.9 stars out of 5 for selling all that. Someone's going to want to buy from you. So I started emailing these sellers to say, what are you doing? how are you possibly, like, you don't own all this. And to me at that time, it was computer stuff. I liked building computers. So for me, the first thing that I was looking at was video cards for the computers. I don't know. I just knew so much about computers. I knew all the parts, all the pieces, all the specs, all the new stuff, all the old stuff, all the latest technology. That's like, this is the best of the best. I just had a very good understanding of all of that. I loved it. I would just sit and study stats on just all pieces, kinds of equipment. And the video card was the one that really fascinated me because it was the one that I realized was, say, not so selling the most, but not many people were selling that specific thing. Everyone else was selling everything else. They were selling monitors, they were selling CPUs, they were selling boxes, they were selling everything, but they weren't selling these cards. And then something just miraculously happened one day, that all of a sudden there was this huge phase, this huge fad that came out about a video card coming out. It's the new, next, latest, greatest, most amazing, most incredible, just new age. We've never seen anything like it before. You know, we always say that about certain parts and certain things, but this was like the newest cutting edge thing that just is about to come out. Never seen anything like it before, and everyone is going to want it. And this thing was pretty pricey. I mean, nowadays it's still pretty pricey. They're like $2,000. But at that time, the price was basically like $725 to $675 was the price of this brand new card coming out. So I just had an intuition to just, I want this card. So I started emailing every single like distributor of that card. Like, I first, of course, went to the company. Pretty sure it was NVIDIA at that time. I went straight to the company to say, hey, can I get some of these cards? And of course, they're like, in reality, no, because they want, I'm trying to buy like 5 or even at that time, just 1 to flip it, because they were selling them. The dealer prices were $375 to $425. And I was like, $425, and I can sell it for $675. That's a huge gain. Granted, I'm a 15, 16-year-old boy here. So the part that I had to, unfortunately, do the not so legal stuff is I couldn't get a bank account at that time. And I had to, like, do my computer skills when I was younger to be able to get all that stuff lined up. So that's the part that I could see where someone could say to me, hey, buddy, you shouldn't be doing that. But as far as the flipping and selling and doing, I had thousands of dollars in my bank account because I got smart. I started emailing every single distributor possible. And then I'll say, hey, I want 10 of them, because this stuff was all on pre-order stuff at that moment, all pre-order. So it was a matter of, it's going to come out one day, and when it's out, you know, I'll ship it to you. And I had all my pre-orders locked in. So I had all my funds to be able to buy the cards locked in. And now I'll start shipping them out. And it just kept going and kept going and kept going. I just kept going. And I started making money that I just didn't make sense. As if I was like, you know, back where I grew up, it was kind of known as being a lot of crime around. And like, that's some drug dealing money that I was making. It was insane. And I just kept doing it. And then I started getting really good at it, to the point that the distributor said, hey, I'll just ship them directly to your clients for you. You don't even need to go through me. So you just send me the invoice of where it goes, and I'll ship it there. And when they get it, you just give me the money. And I was like, okay. And now I got the whole new setup of, I never even needed to touch it. This is all brand new stuff. No one was doing, not no one, but this was new. And something happened to me. Me listening to my intuition saying, let's like a 100 down, and like almost to the point that I just, like, not even gonna lie, I don't think my parents really understood a lot that was going on in my mind at that time. And if y'all watch this video, you'll understand what was going on in my mind. Well, I gave up on running. I gave up on school. I just gave up because I was like, what do I need any of that for when I'm clearly making more than my parents make in not even a weekend? What is this of a benefit to me? This stuff is absolutely pointless. And then I was just like, I could scale this up to go crazy into it. So my motivation to do anything other than just get on the website of eBay was, I didn't care. I didn't care to eat. I just didn't care. And when someone was trying to tell me what to do, I was like, buddy, I just don't care. I didn't care. I was just focused in on that. And, you know, for being a parent, you kind of want to make sure your kid's going to end up in the best place. But in reality, who knows what would have happened if I would have stuck into that. But something happened that I didn't know myself good enough, well enough, the best enough, because I allowed some outside influence to come in and say, that's not going to go anywhere. That's not going to do anything. You're not going to be able to make it doing that. You need to go to college. You need to go to school. You need to this. You need to this. You need to that. That's not going to make it anywhere. I don't care that you've even made any money, but I think the biggest part that made some folks nervous was seeing the amount of like cash in the account that they straight up they probably don't even have in their own account, and and uh and just seeing that can make someone nervous. Like you're clearly not doing something legal, especially if you don't know anything about it. When the new stuff goes on, we don't know anything about it. We assume that it's not right, that it can't be right to be able to do. But in reality, all of it is totally legal. That's the whole concept of what's being sold in all the stores to us. They buy it at a lower price, they sell it for a higher price, they keep the middle so that they can keep the doors open and pay the bills and do what they need to do. But for what I was doing, I didn't have no bills. Parents already paid the mortgage. Parents already paid for my food. I had zero, absolutely no expenses at all. I had nothing. So everything I made was just straight to me. And it just kept stacking and stacking and stacking. And then it just came in where my dad just straight looked at me. He's like, that's suspicious. I forget what word to use, but I'll just use the word suspicious. Like that can't be legal. And him saying that that can't be legal is what basically overnight made me just stop and quit. I just quit. I just said, okay, well, you know what's best for me. You know me more than I know me, so that's just what I need to do. And ever since then, who knows where I would have kept on going if I kept doing that. But that was the new times. I could have been made the courses and done the stuff and done all that to actually show people how to be able to get into that, because there was none of that around. But it was a matter of me just listening to what someone had to say about what it is that I need to do, because they didn't know anything about it. They didn't understand it. And this goes on with, I mean, an unbelievable amount of people I see where you're a really good, say, artist, and you drawing some stuff, man, and people look at it like, holy crap, that's incredible. But then you have someone come to you. In most cases, unfortunately, as much as our family tries to help us, they actually sabotage us the most. You draw, and then your mom or dad or cousin or uncle or whoever comes to you and says, you can't possibly make money doing that. That's not going to go anywhere. You need to go get a job. You need to go, for us, it wasn't even get a job. It was go get into debt and go to school. You need to go to school. School is what you need. You can't possibly making money drawing those silly pictures like that. So then what do? You just stop. You just quit. You just, oh, okay, well, I guess I do need to go to school. And then that just comes down with so much stuff. A lot of people with music and stuff. That ain't gonna do nothing. That ain't gonna go nowhere. That ain't gonna make anything. And then we just literally quit. Not even just like slow it down some, because that's the part that best case scenario we would get ourselves into is we just slow down. Someone said, okay, well, maybe I just won't, like for me, say be on the eBay, 20 hours a day. Maybe I'll just stop it down to, 2 hours a day instead, but just do minimal. But that's not what we usually do for some reason. We just straight up quit. And then that straight up quit just leads you to absolutely nowhere. And that's just what I just see that keeps constantly going on with us as humans for some reason, because we don't know who we are, and we don't trust ourselves, and we don't believe in ourselves. And we allow someone else to just be able to just simply say to you, hey, this is what you have to do. So this is what I'm going to make you do. And you don't have a choice but to do it this way. This is the thing that I'm going to say kind of, I don't want to say frustrates me, but just gets me to understand how we're struggling today with a simple animal like this thing up here. This thing up here she is a thing. I'm a thing too. But this dog up here is people telling me and people telling you how it should look, what it should do, how it should behave, how it should do everything, what all it needs to know to be able to be, say, a nice animal, and everything like that they're telling you, because in a way of saying to you, you don't possibly know what's best. You don't possibly know what you want. You don't possibly have any understanding of what is actually you want that makes you happy. We're going to be the ones that tell you what it is that you really care for. And this all starts in reality right away in the kindergarten. I don't know if they do it in preschool yet, but in the kindergarten is where, Ophie, nope, we got to get back on trail. Come on. I know you start building up there, but we're not doing this right now. Come on. I know the fastest way to get you to move is to leave. That's always my recommendation, folks. If your dog is doing something that you don't want it to do, instead of hollering, yelling, hooting, just freaking leave, man. The dog's going to try to find you and say, oh, what's going on? Well, maybe that must not be important. But when you're just standing there staring at it with them, they're like, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and get further into that then. Let's go ahead and see you like it too. Is all I can say that the dog's going through it in his brain. It's like, oh, you care about that too. So let's go ahead and get into this. Because when I stood there staring, she's looking at me like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, no, we're just not doing that. You just move away, move on. Just we're not doing that. Let's just go. And that's something that is what we're being force fed right away as little kids in school. You gotta this and you gotta that. You gotta believe in this and don't believe in that. You gotta be over here at this time and don't ever think about being late or even try to do it like this way. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff that I used to give a little pushback in school back in the days of, you want me to do it this way, but I could also do it that way. And then they would always say to you, oh no, you need to do it this way. But I'm like, hold on, we got the same answer in the end. And you're sitting here telling me that I can't get that same answer. I have to get the answer that specific way that you're telling me to, even though I know that there's just different options here. And for whatever reason, it's just like everything is just slammed on us to just, there are no options. This is the only option. This is the only way. This is the only thing to be able to get what it is say, have a good life. This is the only way to be able to succeed. This is the only way to be able to get anything done. And that is just, I don't know why, but that is the part that I have to give so much pushback to in this world. Because no, we are individuals, but for some reason, as much as we try to even think and say that, we're not living that. We're not actually being that. We're just doing what everyone else is doing and realizing in the end that it's not actually what you wanted. It didn't bring you anything. It didn't do anything for you. And that's just it's something that it's hard to get out of, because it's most cases it starts like again in our homes. Granted, we're trying to look out for the best, because that's one thing with me with these baby children. People, please allow them to experience what they want to be able to experience, and don't tell them what to do, because they have to be able to grow up to be them. And the more that you're not letting them do that, the more that straight up you are going to be taking care of them for the rest of their lives, because they didn't do what it is that they need to do. They did what you wanted them to do. So now they're going to have to keep on doing what it is that you want. And it's going to be a constant, just never letting the child just go away, never allowing, even a simple dog, a simple animal, to just go off and explore and be some. Where yes, there's limitations and boundaries. I can't just, she's looking at I don't know what it is, but she could see my nervousness more than likely. And I think, I don't want to say misreading, but just reading me correctly, because my nervousness can also look like excitement, that she always likes standing at the edge of cliffs for some reason. That's what she was doing back there, just standing at like this cliff and looking down. I'm just like, dude, we're not doing that. Like, you just gonna jump on off or climb? I mean, I've seen her do some pretty, she's a very adventurous dog right here. But no, I'm not about to jump off an old cliff with you. Like, what do you think this is? So I'm just gonna walk away from that so that she can see like this. I don't know. It's just, she's reading me weird. But I have to allow her to be able to explore some on her own, to be able to just be fine, be on her own, be okay. It's like all these little things. She goes off. The only thing that I just get nervous of is snakes, but I've caught a couple at the house, and I realized I don't know how and what and why, but my dogs are terrified of rattlesnakes. I find them at the house and they run away, but also I make a big scene about it, and I kind of do like a lot. I always take them out with a shovel, and it kind of looks probably crazy and savage. My dogs are scared, like the ones that'll hurt them. The rat snakes and all those, I don't know what it is. They actually play with those a little bit. But them rattlesnakes and them coral snakes, they run away from them. They're terrified of them. So as much as I'm nervous that, oh my goodness, a snake for this, she knows what she's doing. She's fine. She's going to be okay. Granted, if you haven't put your dog around snakes and explain to them like, hey, this isn't something we play with, don't just let your dog run off into the woods and think that everything is going to be perfectly fine. I'm not sitting here saying that to do that. I'm saying that when you train your dog, you work with your dog, you give your dog what you need, what you're looking for, allow your dog to be able to do that. Don't listen to what I say. Oh, just let your dog run. No, my dogs clearly don't just run free and just go off and do whatever the heck they want to do. She's very, very, the word that I don't want to use, but is the best word to use, in control right now. She's in control of her own self. I don't tell her she has to walk here and has to walk there. She's walking in reality where she wants to go, off the side of a cliff. That's just a danger. That's a dangerous thing. But the more that we're not allowing things to actually do what it is that they want to be able to do, the more that we're putting them into a small little box that is basically never going to allow, especially for us as humans, to ever grow up. We're going to remain being a 5-year-old boy, 5-year-old girl, even though I don't care what age you are. You could be 85 years old right now, but you're still acting and doing and being like a 5-year-old child, because we're not actually doing what we need to be able to just grow up and understand that one question that I just want everyone to really ask: who are you? Who are you? What are you all about? What do you like? What do you desire? Just go back, even thinking about your life as a young child. What did you really like to do that somehow, some way you just stopped it? And start to think, why did I just stop doing that thing that I just really, really, really enjoyed? And more than likely, it's going to be because of someone, and the unfortunate thing, but most someone close to you in your life that is saying to you, what is that? We got a big animal here. She's got me a good. See, she has a really good, like, what do you call it? She could point at animals out. She doesn't really chase them anymore, but she'll, I mean, if I sit here and stare at it with her, she'll definitely try to go. But she's like a pointer. She's, and I could tell the difference of if it's a bigger animal or a small one. Right there, there's something big, but it might be a deer back there. But it's just fascinating to just sit and watch and see what goes on this planet, instead of just trying to control everything and put it into a small box of it. It has to be like this because that's what you want it to be. But I want everyone to just take a deep dive, Uffy, a deep dive into what is it and who you are. Who are you? What do you want to do? And stop worrying about what is being sold to you and force fed to you, and you have to this or else, or you have to that or else, and just understand of who you are. Because the more that you're not understanding that and being about who you are, the more you're allowing someone else to just be able to dictate that to you. And that's where I see today the absolute mass level of chaos that's going on this planet. Because people are so quick to just accept the role of what someone told them to be, as opposed to being who it is that they want to be. And then you run into that being in the crowd situation, that now if you don't do like everyone else and be in the crowd, now you're like a left out, a leftover, I don't want to use the word rebel there, but just an outcast. That's the best word there. You're just an outcast to the world. And that is something that is hard to deal with when you're just always used to only following the crowd and following what everyone else is telling you that you should be like, and how you should be, and how you should dress, and what you should do, and where you should work, and what school you should go to, and all of that, as opposed to you making that decision your own self of who are you, what do you want? Because that's something that I don't know why it's changing up so much this past, I don't know, maybe like 50 or more years. Is But especially, I don't know what it was with me being in my school time frame. Anyone that graduated basically about 2000, basically started at about 2000. It was like, yeah, that was a lot. That was weird noise. Let's get the heck out of here. About 2000, pretty much all of us were force fed this: go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college. You go to college and you go ahead and get these student loans, and you go ahead and get because at that time it was, you had to have your parents co-sign for it. But everyone get these student loans, and everyone has to go to school, and everyone has to get this degree so that you'll be able to have a chance to be able to make it on this planet. And then now, for me personally, seeing how long has it been since I've been out of school? So 20 years later, that's just not like, that didn't turn into reality. Most people today, you're clearly not doing all that great with this degrees and this stuff that was force fed to us, to said that we need it and we want it. I mean, I know so many people. I know so many people that have numbers up to 180, $220,000, and going to a school that you can't even get a job for, making more than minimum wage, because there's no need for what it is that you went to school for. But we're just force fed it based on us not going with our own intuition to understanding what it is that we want to do, that we need to do, not even what we want to do, but what we need to do. We're just listening to what everyone else is telling us to do, and that just is, it's unfortunate, but I get it. It makes money. It makes a lot of money to make sure that you're being sold and force fed stuff that you actually don't need. It's just it's very, very destructive, and that's unfortunately just what is going on in our world. Not only just this nation anymore, but in our world. That's just what's going on. That we're being sold stuff that we just do not need. We absolutely do not need any of it, and we're sitting here buying it, buying it, buying it, getting further and further and further into it, and it's just absolutely destroying us. And that's why it's easy for someone to sell you something and tell you who you are when you don't know who you are your own self. And that's what, man, that's the start in reality of figuring out what I don't want to say what went wrong, but if you're not satisfied with anything going on in your life right now, something went wrong along the way. And we got to get back in alignment with getting back on track with doing what it is that we need to do. Oh, this tree's about to fall. I think it's already fallen. That's sketchy. We need to get back in alignment with doing what it is that we need to be doing and understand who we are and stop putting ourselves in this small little box of someone telling you this is who you are, this is what you should be doing, this is what you should dress like, be like, act like, speak like, do like, go like, make everything happen. That is the number one thing that I'm seeing getting a little bit older on this planet and just watching and paying attention is we're all being put into this perfect little so-called oasis, and it's not an oasis. It's a death trap. And we're thinking that we're getting more and more free, but we're actually getting more and more destructive and more to a place that no longer are we acting on any of our, I don't want to use the word free will, but it's just the easiest to state, acting on what it is that we know we need to do. We're acting on what someone else wants us to do. And that is just absolute disaster. Thank you. It feels like a swamp out here now. I don't know what it is. Girl got all energized at this point. She's been pretty tired today. She's not used to these long walks again, but I need it. I don't know what it is, but going for these walks out here, it's just something. I don't know how to explain it, but it just brings energy, inspiration, desire back into me. And I've been doing that running stuff in that gym. It's like you're in a small little box of doom that you're not getting. I don't know how to say it. You're not getting the wind, you're not getting the sun, you're not getting the smells, you're not getting anything. You're just in a that's why for me, man, folks, if you really want to, because that was the fundamental thing for me, that when I used to be extremely anxious and just really depressed like symptoms and just always never wanting to be here, and the number one thing was I got that dog and I started going for walks. Day one, I couldn't do no more than a mile, 2 miles at max, and now I can walk like an easy 16 miles. But it's I just got out and got going and got going and got going and started asking questions and started thinking of, who am I? Why am I acting like this? Because clearly there's no reason that I would want to be this way, but something is making me be this way. And it made me have to start thinking. It's like, here, I don't use no headphones. I might listen to a book here and there some days, but I don't listen to no music. I don't do no nothing. And the books I listen to are books of, who am I? Trying to learn more to be able to help not only just myself out anymore today, but to figure out how to be able to help other people out with the same issues that I had going on. Because my life would be much different. Who knows, better or worse or whatever, just different. If I would have went further into what it is that I know I needed to do for myself. If I would have been able to do more of that, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have ended up in that whole almost, well, it was more than that. It was like 17, 18 years of just straight deep depression. Just straight, he has 18 years now, 19 years of just straight, just agony. The hurting, depression, beat down, broke, can't this, can't that, didn't want to nothing. Like maybe I could have not had that and done something a little bit differently to be able to help out more people on this planet. But because in reality, those years were just selfish years of myself, going nowhere, doing nothing for no one, just trying to survive. And that's not the way that we're supposed to be living on this planet. We're supposed to be trying to help each other and do stuff for each other and get each other into better places and do as much as you can and as best as you can to help as many people as possible be able to get into a better place. And the unfortunate thing is we don't do that anymore as a people collectively, because we're listening to what someone else is telling us that who we are and what we have to do. And the unfortunate thing is it always comes down to, let's go make more money, more money, more money, as opposed to helping more people out. Because every business adventure I've been in, even from the beginning of that story, working on eBay, it wasn't so much as even the money. It was as much as being able to help people. I was a go-to guy to get these video cards on eBay. Everyone was sending me messages. Hey, buddy, can I get this? I'm helping people out get it. They go, hey, I don't know what it is. When something new come out, you want it first, you know? And I was doing my best I can, staying up all night, sending emails to everyone possible to make sure that these guys, mainly guys at that time, I think, were just trying to get this video card. And I was like, I got you, man. And I would send emails, everywhere. I had to like decode and try to send it in different languages. It was going deep. just to make sure that I could help someone get that card right away ASAP. And that was my main goal, was to do that. And then I realized, like, wow, I'm making a crazy amount of money doing this. I'm selling one and making 200 bucks on each one, no problem, no issues. And I was like, this helping people can really help your own self. But for some reason today, we want to help ourselves and then help people. And that's not the way the system works. We need to help others, and we'll see the I'll say it like that, the magic happen. It'll be an amazing experience.